Alright. I did decide to turn the sound up a little bit on the game, so hopefully you guys can hear me. But there is. But I have been in the mood to try to do a Let's Play of Harvest Moon Island of Happiness. And my brain would not leave me alone about it, so I'm going for it. Alright. I will just overwrite this file. I didn't get too far. Alright. You'll see the story. You'll see what's about to happen. But I do have some more things I would like to discuss in this video. And the first thing I will be discussing is there will be a slight change of plans for my Let's Plays. Don't worry. I don't plan on canceling any of my Let's Plays. However, I do have some other plans than what I was doing or that I have been doing lately. I am a female. My name is Shauna. Okay, for some reason, I like to convert June 9th to spring 27. So that's what I usually choose if I'm given the chance to put in a birthday. Because, it doesn't have like the 12 months of the year. It just has like the 4 seasons. And each season is usually between 28 and 31 days. In this game, I think it's I don't. We'll see. We'll see, but yeah. It showed the calendar, but I was just paying attention to the 27. But yeah, so here's the deal. At first, I was just planning on, having like 2 to 3 Let's Plays at a time. However, instead, I'm just gonna focus on whatever game I feel like playing. I've been in the mood to start this one. I haven't played too much of it off screen because I only got the game for this emulator a couple of months ago, like back in like June. But yeah, and this game is really similar to another Harvest Moon game that I've been playing off screen, but I'll probably wait. But I mean, there's differences, but they're also very similar, so I'll wait until I do this one to start the other one. But this one is called Harvest Moon Island of Happiness. The other one is called Harvest Moon Sunshine Islands. It has better controls. A new bachelor and bachelorette were added. And it does have some differences, but it does have, a lot of the same graphics and characters, marriage candidates, except for the new ones. But let's see the intro. It's a great day, not a cloud in the sky, the sea couldn't be calmer. happened? And why am I in a bedroom all of a sudden? Oh, a storm. Well, famous last words.
Oh, it is so calm. Not a cloud in the sky.
We're getting tossed around like a feather in a typhoon. But basically what happens is we get stranded on a deserted island, and you have to do stuff. You know, certain tasks will get you more people. Some of these people are main characters. Some of them are just background characters, which I'll explain the difference as we proceed on with this. But yes, that's basically the objective of this game. We're gonna get stranded on a deserted island, but we basically make it our home. You don't get rescued like in typical Castaway stories. We make this island our home, and we build more, and we basically build a community on the island. We get more people, we get more shops. Now, one main complaint people do have this game are the controls. They are extremely clunky. However, I really wanted to give this game a try. I feel like doing a let's play of it would be easier than just playing on my own. Because, I like to talk to you guys about stuff, and it would be easier to just kind of not focus too much on the controls and just kind of play the game naturally, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's just easier to play a game with clunky controls during a let's play, rather than when I'm just alone, not talking to anyone or a camera. What on earth happened to the captain? I'm not trying to... Oh, okay. I guess he made it on the island. I guess he will live here too. I'm sure they'll get rescued now that the storm has died down. Nope, I don't think anyone gets rescued. We pretty much make this island our home. But yeah, I'm sorry about the... I know it's a little screen, but hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. Hopefully you guys can still, you, Green Ethan, and other people watching this can still read and see what's going on. I'm Shauna. Yep, just him. Wait, what about the captain? You said that everyone was okay. Unless he was the captain. Maybe Tara was the captain. I don't know. But yeah. But yep, this is Felicia. She's also in Sunshine Islands, which I will be doing later on down the road as well. She's Taro's daughter. And Taro also has a granddaughter and a grandson, which are Felicia's daughter and son. Their names are Natalie and Elliot. She's not a marriage candidate. You won't tell when we get female marriage candidates because it'll only show, the ones of the opposite sex. But, whatever, whoever you're playing as, the marriage candidates of the opposite sex will have a heart next to them. And it basically serves as a friendship indicator. I think Elliot is. Some Harvest Moon games have this, some do not. For example, I did Harvest Moon Tree of Tranquility. I'll get back to it eventually because there's still some stuff I want to show off. Same with Animal Parade. I do want to get back into those two Harvest Moon games eventually. I just feel more motivated to play this one. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah. Felicia's children are both marriage candidates. Her son is a marriage candidate for girls, and then her daughter is a marriage candidate for boys. Yep, there they are. We found some old abandoned buildings, but otherwise this island looks deserted. Yep, but we're gonna build it up. I guess you can kind of compare this game to Animal Crossing New Horizons, because you end up on a deserted island. Though, in Animal Crossing, it's planned. In this one, it's, due to, some unfortunate events, such as that storm. But, yep. She doesn't have the heart, because I'm playing, because I'm a girl, but if I was if someone let's say someone's playing as the male player, then she would have a heart by her. See, he has the heart. That indicates that he's a marriage candidate. This island is in shambles. It's not impossible to live here, but it'd be rough. Yeah, it's gonna get better. We didn't have time to check the rest of the island, though. Yeah, Taro, it can be angry. Exactly. And yeah. And I'll... Of course I'm gonna want to get married in this game eventually, so So you'll see along the way, but like I said, the heart color serves as an indicator. A friendship indicator. First it's gray, then it's purple, then it's blue, then it's green, then it's yellow, then it's orange, and then red is the highest. And there's going to be heart events that we'll see as we befriend people. Man. It's so tempting to start a fan fiction based on this game. Oh, okay. It is planned. It was planned. I thought this was unfortunate due to the storm, but huh. They made it sound like this wasn't planned because it was because of a storm. It's not like we willfully went to this island. But yeah, instead of, like I said, instead of just doing a couple of Let's Plays at a time, it'll just depend on whatever I'm in the mood to play. Don't worry, I'm not planning on canceling any of my Let's Plays. I might just put them on hold, and, they'll probably come and go, depending on my motivation. So, yeah. I'm probably gonna focus on this game. Definitely Miitopia. Miitopia is... Don't worry, I probably won't put Miitopia on hold. It's probably one of my favorite games ever to Let's Play, because, I don't know, there's just something special about Miitopia. It's just such a fun game to play when you're just venting about stuff. I don't know, but... Green Ethan, remember how when you said Miitopia is a godsend? I agree with you. Alright, and I do have a favorite bachelor in particular that I plan on going for. It's not Elliot. Elliot's nice and cute, but he's not my favorite. Luckily, we don't have to do much to get this bachelor. We're gonna meet him in a couple of in-game weeks, and I'll point him out then. He's also in Sunshine Islands, and I'm gonna be going for him in that game too. He's probably my favorite. Right now, he's probably my favorite bachelor, not just in this, and, in Island of Happiness or Sunshine Islands, but he's probably my favorite Harvest Moon bachelor in general at the moment. As much as I like Gil from Animal Parade and Tree of Tranquility, this particular bachelor I don't know, he's just more my type. He's tough, he's cold. I'll show you once we finally meet him, but I have such a weak spot for tough and cold characters with a heart of gold deep down. So yes, I do like Gil from Tree of Tranquility and Animal Parade, but I like this particular bachelor more. Unfortunately, since this is an older Harvest Moon game, there's no same-sex marriage. However, I hope they do a remake eventually of this game and or Sunshine Islands, because there are a lot of people out there who prefer the same sex, and that's okay. I'm bisexual, but I tend to mostly go for male characters. However, when Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life came out, I actually went for Nami, who is a female, because none The males didn't really interest me that much, but I usually do go for males still, even with in the newer games, even with same-sex marriage available, because I do have a preference, a general preference to them. I don't think we're gonna meet my favorite bachelor in this episode, because you know a lot of this episode is just an introductory episode. So we'll probably meet him in episode 2 or 3. Like I said, thankfully, a lot of characters require a process to unlock them. But with this guy, I don't want to say his name yet. I kind of want to keep that in suspense until we meet him, but yeah, I'll point it out when we do meet him in a couple of in-game weeks. Now, this is a tradition for me, but I like to name my ranches and my farms Utopia Ranch. I'm just gonna skip the tutorial. I already know. Oh my god, what did I tell you? I'm kind of worried about tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. The merchant family. Okay, this is Charlie and Chin. I think they're father and son. No, this is Taro, but he's just letting us know about the new arrivals. Okay, good, because I think they're the ones we're gonna have to buy seeds from. Slowpoke. Yep, father and son. Oh my god, this seems like such a fun game to do a fanfiction on. Plus, with story, like with fanfiction, you do have more creative freedom than like when you're just playing the game. You get to make alterations, you get to flesh out the characters more. Oh my god. My ADHD ass, man. I keep getting the inspiration to take on new projects, even though I have like a billion unfinished ones. Oh my god. Oh, nice. Good, because I need to make money. Yeah, there's a mother and a daughter who run an animal shop that we should unlock pretty soon. We should also get them pretty early on. A lot, as you see, a lot of characters we just get them, as we go through the days, like Charlie, Chin. But a lot of characters we have to complete certain tasks for, and they're pretty fleshed out. You unlock people by shipping 100 spring crops. You unlock people by shipping 100 summer crops. You unlock people by shipping 100 fall crops. Now, a lot of people aren't actual portraited people. Like, you can see, the portraits. They're just kind of background characters. And not like main characters, but... Ooh, I would appreciate that. Oh my god. I promised myself I wouldn't take on any more writing projects, but I'm so tempted. Okay, so upgrading tools in this game works a little differently. I don't know if you remember Green Ethan, but in Trio of Tranquility and Animal Parade, we would upgrade tools with ore. But in this game, you unlock them with these balls called Wonderfuls. Yep, Wonderfuls. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't buy Wonderfuls during winter. However, we can get Wonderfuls and Wonderful Pieces by winning and participating in festivals. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to use the mouse to walk around. I can't use the arrow keys or WASD. Oh, but I can sprint using W. Okay. That'll help me get around faster. Alright, we're just gonna clear... Okay, good. We're starting out with some seeds. Okay, there we go. Yeah. The controls do take a little bit of getting used to. That's the main criticism people have about this game. The game itself is actually really good. It's just the controls people mainly complain about. Alright. How much money do I have? 500. Alright. I'm probably not gonna buy anything today. I'm just getting started. I already have some crops. Alright. Okay, unfortunately, in this game, your character is not able to walk through crops. So instead of doing like a 3x3, I just do like 8. Like, I leave a spot in the front middle. And now it'll be easier to tend to our fields as we upgrade our crops. Or not our crops, our tools. I wonder if there's a button you can press to use tools. I might check that off screen because you can go in and check the control translations. And yeah, it might take a couple of years or even 3 years or more to unlock all of the villagers we need. Alright. Now where's my water source? Oh, I think we fill it from here? Yes, alright. Oh my god, yeah. Alright. And yeah, alright. I'm pretty much done with my discussion of the... Oh, yeah. Sorry, I accidentally dragged my toolbar. Alright. So, alright, here's something else to know. Since we don't get the cafe or diner in this game until way later, we basically have to live off of chocolate. However, I do want to kind of vent about something that has been on my mind lately. It pertains to the holidays. But my dad is planning on taking my brother and I out to Houston. And I love Houston. I love seeing my grandparents on my mom's side of the family. But the main thing I'm worried about is, how it will go with my mom. And, sometimes when I'm on vacations, I'm worried about my parents, starting stuff with me. So, yeah, that's why I'm a bit nervous. Because I can be very paranoid and just very hypervigilant when it comes to stuff. And with good reason, too. Because there are times where I have been, worried about something happening in the future, and lo and behold, it does end up happening. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep my guard up about that. Only a little bit left. Relax. Hang in there. Alright. Yeah. My stamina is pathetic. Okay, yeah. Time to go to bed. Where is my house? Oh. Okay, sorry about that. I keep accidentally dragging my pointer to my toolbar. But, okay. Where is it? Where's my house? It doesn't really say. Is this it? Is this my house? No, it's Noe. Or no, Noe. Where is my house? It doesn't really say on the map. Oh, okay, there it is. Holy, oh my god, I am out of stamina. I'm surprised I didn't just pass out right then and there. Okay, crops. I already planted some crops. This is not my first rodeo. I already did. Yep. No need to keep asking. But yeah, I figured it would be a good topic to talk about. Hypervigilance. Because I do that a lot. I can be very paranoid. I'm not really hypervigilant in the sense of having like a lot of awareness of my surroundings, because I actually struggle with it in that regard. I struggle to really pay attention to stuff and to such a especially to such a high degree. But when it comes to like paranoia and I don't know, just keeping my guard up and being cautious and like being aware about the future, Yeah, I can be really hyper vigilant. And I can give an example of where I was actually right to be hyper vigilant. So back in August 2016, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and start collecting lumber too, because we're gonna need a lot of it. We're gonna be building a lot of bridges. But yeah, so in August 6th, the August 2016, my dad and my mom, they were still together, and I was still living in my old town of Orange Grove. But okay, we can't go this area yet. Yeah, that's another thing too, is not only we get new people in buildings, but we also expand the island. We build bridges and we get rid of boulders. It's definitely a fun game where where you have to turn an island that's like run down to a bustling community. It's definitely a nice concept, but yeah, in August 2016, I overheard my dad. He was discussing some old friends him and my mom have out in Virginia, and if you know me, like if you know me well enough, you know that I live in Texas. So Virginia, and even when I was living in Orange Grove, I was still living in Texas. And as you know, if you have a basic, if you have like a concept of the United States map, how it looks, you know that Virginia is pretty much halfway across the country from Texas. Alright, yeah. I also, but alright, before I proceed on with the topic, I do want you guys, these, at first, the days are gonna be a bit short, because, number one, I'm still unlocking stuff, and number two, my stamina, drains pretty quickly, and I'm still in the early stages of making money, so until I'm able to buy more chocolate, I won't be able to do as much. Yes, I know how it works. yeah. I don't want to. I don't want to litter this video with too much tutorial crap, so that's why I'm skipping the tutorials. Plus, I already know how to play. I didn't get too far, but, you know, I do have a basic idea of the controls. Once we get more money and, you know, once we can buy more chocolate at a time and we get the cafe and diner, we'll be able to do a lot more per day. But for now, we're just kind of, you know, roughing it. Going through the beginning stages of this game. But yeah. My dad had told my mom back in August 2016 that he wanted to drive us out to Virginia. And I honestly have no interest in going. I didn't have any interest in going. I still don't. I don't really do well on really long drives. I find them too overwhelming. I get homesick. You know, homesickness is, you know, if you're a homebody like me and you don't really like to, and you value your privacy, you value, you know, the privacy and comfort of your own home, your own bedroom, you probably get homesick easily. And I'm the same way, but it can be with vacations in general, but it's even worse, like, for a vacation that's, like, really, really far away. You have to, you know, stop at a hotel halfway there and halfway back, and it's just too tedious and overwhelming for me. And in the beginning of, like, in winter or spring of 2017, you know, the following year, I finally told my mom how I didn't want to, you know, I explained to her how I didn't want to go to Virginia. At first, she was understanding, but then came, I believe, May 2017. Her and my dad got into a fight. And it was about me not wanting to go to Virginia. Basically, my dad manipulated my mom into, you know, thinking I should have been forced to go. And, you know, but between, you know, August 2016, when my dad first mentioned about the trip, and the big fight I had with my mom, I was actually really worried about it happening, and it did. So, of course, like, you know, I freak out, and my mom gets mad at me for that. Because, you know, I do have anxiety about, you know, stuff like that. I have anxiety about, certain events of the future. I have anxiety about people getting mad at me. So, and that makes me even more emotional when it does happen. Because it's like anxiety mixed in with the sadness and sensitivity of getting yelled at for no apparent reason. But yeah, that's the point of me bringing up the whole long road trips ordeal again. Is because, I was worried and hyper vigilant about my parents getting mad at me for not wanting to go, and lo and behold, they did. I already know how to use the hammer and axe. Yeah, this first episode, and possibly, the second or possibly third episode is going to be a lot of tutorial crap. I'm going to skip him. Oh my god, yes! But yeah. Basically what happened, during May 2017, my mom lets me know about the whole ordeal with my dad. And he basically manipulated her, but I get it, manipulation is wrong, but at the same time, my mom should have stood up for herself. Not for, she said she should think for herself. But yeah, my dad told her that families should have to do things together. And yeah, that sounds like an agreeable statement, but it should not be at the expense of your children's boundaries or comfort. No, baka. Hold on, let me check something. I wonder. I was seeing if there was like a full screen options. Force wide windowed full screen. Show menu. You know what? I'm gonna wait till the second part to play this in case it messes with my game. So yeah. But yeah, that's my dad can be a very family-oriented person, and that can be a good thing. But I feel like some family-oriented people, they don't take their family members' boundaries into consideration. They just think everyone should have to give up their comfort or boundaries, no questions asked. Oh, fuck yeah. I need chocolate. But yeah, the point is, it has happened to me where I was like worried about something happening, and it did happen. And in that case, it was me getting into an argument with one of my parents about the Virginia trip. I also have another story I want to do, but it's not going to be a self-ship story. It's not going to be a serious story. If anything, it's going to be more of a crack fic, as I like to call them. But it's going to be a revamp of a fan fiction I wrote back in like 2016, 2017. It sounds weird, but it's a fanfic. But back in 2016 and 2017, I wrote a fan fiction about what it would be like if Dora the Explorer's parents were actually good parents and actually were strict with her daughter for her unsupervised exploring. So yeah. I know I tend to do like a lot of self-inserts and a lot of self-ship fan fictions, but if I ever did just decided to do that revamp, it's not going to be a self-insert or a self-ship story. It's just going to be, the Dora the Explorer characters. But, that's something. I'm more intrigued to start an Island of Happiness fanfiction. Because I've been playing, I want to do this game, Island of Happiness, and then I've been playing Sunshine Islands off camera, and I definitely want to do a Let's Play of that eventually. But I'm gonna wait until after I do this game, because the games do have differences, but they're also very similar, so yeah. I'm gonna stick to this one. And even though this one, it has better control. I mean, this, not better controls, but, it has, like, more really clunky controls, but I feel like, the story is a lot more interesting than the one in Sunshine Islands. In Sunshine Islands, you collect sunstones to raise islands. And yes, it's a nice concept, but I feel like it would be more fun to, like, turn this game into a fan fiction. Because it has all of the same characters, with the exception of Will and Lily, who were added into Sunshine Islands. But what I could do is I could just, I could make I could just bring them over to my fan fiction, even if the fan fiction is going to be more Island of Happiness focused and they're from Sunshine Islands. I can still bring them over. But everything else, yeah. I think it would be more fun to do a fan fiction on, this game's story. Plus, I feel like the characters are the same, but I feel like they're more fleshed out and they just have a, I don't know, a stronger personality, I guess, in this game as opposed to Sunshine Islands. I've kind of noticed, so that's something else I've been taking into consideration. Alright, I need chocolate. But yeah, that's why I'm, I love my parents, I love my family in general, but it is, sometimes I feel like the black sheep in my family. And, as much as I love going out to Houston and seeing my grandparents on my mom's side, I'm just really worried and hyper vigilant about my mom and my dad, starting something. Not my grandparents, they're cool as hell, but my parents, yeah, I'm a bit worried about how it could all go down. So now I will say that I am also a bit excited as well to go up there. I want to make as many memories as I can with my maternal grandparents, because I have a lot of amazing memories of going out to Houston and seeing them, and I want to continue to do so for as long as I possibly can. And on a more lighthearted note, okay, I have quite a bit of money, wow. Okay, good, because I need a lot of chocolate. Once we get the cafe and diner, we won't have to spend so much money on chocolate, but it is going to be a bit, it's going to be a process before we do get them. But my dad keeps calling me a bork. It's like his favorite word now. How did he come up with it, you ask? Well, he combined the words bird and dork. He claims I'm a bird, and he claims I'm a dork, so he keeps calling me Bork, and he claims it to be my nickname. Even just for a casual conversation. I could just be minding my own business in my room, and when he's calling me, he'll be like Bork instead of Shauna. And I am gonna get my mom and my grandparents on his ass about it. But yeah, that's, I looked it up, and hypervigilance can be that relates to another topic I kind of want to get into before ending this off, but I did look it up, and hypervigilance can be linked to, stuff like anxiety and ADHD. I've been questioning if I have ADHD for a couple of years now. Because, that's what I tend to do. This also somewhat relates to a topic you discussed, in that, you're the not Dawson, but, the Wii version of Super Paper Mario, the Pit of 100 Trials, and that's the name I was looking for. In the Wii version of Super Paper Mario. It semi-relates to a topic you discussed, confirmation bias. I have the tendency to have confirmation bias. And one of the main examples is, is like me looking into. I'm not diagnosed with autism and ADHD. However, what I have been officially diagnosed with is neurofibromatosis type 1, to be specific. And there's actually a link between NF and, autism spectrum disorder and ADHD. Hell, the other Ethan, Purple Ethan, he actually has neurofibromatosis as well, and he also has autism and ADHD. And, again, this relates to confirmation bias, but I have looked into it online, and sorry, I spaced out, but like I said, I have looked into it online, and not confirmed. Bleh. Neurofibromatosis is in fact a risk factor for autism and ADHD. Like I said, I have been questioning. Oh my god. Why can't I? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm still getting used to these controls because they're different. Dragging items is it works a bit differently in this game compared to Sunshine Islands. Oh my goodness, yeah, I'm gonna need a rucksack upgrade already, because this is just ridiculous. But yeah, I've questioned that. I've had both of them for years now. Maybe not specifically autism, but somewhere on the spectrum, or something similar to it, like at least a mild form of it. But Then I hear then I, look it up online and it says, yep, this is true. It is in fact related. Because I have a tendency to do that, especially when it comes to behavior that's linked to my disorders. I've done this a lot. I've looked it up online. Is this a result of, can ADHD cause this? Is this linked to ADHD? Is this linked to autism? Do people with neurofibromatosis tend to do this? Yada yada yada. Especially because it makes sense, and looking up stuff can help to make sense of how we are the way we are. Oh, I don't have enough money. Fuck. Alright, we'll get the rucksack pretty soon, because having just one row of or one section of items is not doing it for us. Yeah, I'm gonna chop some more wood. But yeah, because we want to feel validated. That's one of the main that's one of the main things that confirmation bias stems from, is we want to feel validated, so we look it up. We want, we want to be told, yes, this is the case. Because like that's how we are as humans. We want to feel understood. We want to feel validated. We don't want to feel like anything is wrong with us, or that something is just, an us problem. We want to look for a reason. We want to look for validation. So, yeah. I know it was about in your case of discussing NIT, it was about a different topic, but yeah, I thought that, confirmation bias, it is an interesting topic of discussion. I tend to have it myself. Because like I said, I want to feel validated. Especially in terms of, my neurofibromatosis. It helps me find the answers I'm looking for. Especially since I can't really get them from a psychiatrist right now, so... That's all I can rely on. Now, should it be substituted for, seeking actual medical advice? Should it be substituted for actual, professional help? No, it should not, but it is nice, to a good way to seek validation of my disorders and of my behaviors. So yes. But yeah, Green Ethan, the mention of confirmation bias in your live stream, not live stream, but Premiere. Yeah. it just got me thinking about it, how I tend to have it myself. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end this off right here, guys. We'll save. Save. Alright. But yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting game. Hopefully we can do some more premieres soon. And yep, I will see you later. Goodbye.